If you've built an MVP or are building an MVP, then give me 8 minutes of your time and I'll explain exactly why you're doing the wrong thing. What most people think an MVP is, before we get into it, let's actually define what an MVP is. You strip away like your large features and you break it down in a small version that people can easily digest and people can use and you can develop and make quick. Now, how we define it at the Central Hub is an MVP, obviously minimal viable product. Okay, yes, but it should fit into 3 categories. One is this going to help you raise funds? Number 2 is, what do your users actually want? Can you retain users through this MVP? Number 3, maybe you don't know any of this and you're using AI to vibe code, wherever it is, but you're actually trying to validate your idea. This day and age, right now, founders have so much power. That person with the idea has so much power because you can literally build a product without a developer team. Obviously, this is going against me and my whole business, but you can literally build a product without a developer team. You have tools like Claude Code, Lovable, I can mention any more of them, but essentially allow you to build out all these projects with simple prompts. So on paper, this is amazing because it allows you to build anything very quick. But that's when you get into the issue of, is this MVP actually what I want, or is this fitting into these 3 buckets? This is why I think a lot of MVPs actually equal to failure. Because when you think about it, you can create something very quickly using AI and vibe coding. That's the new buzzword these days, vibe coding. But it almost feels as if you can quickly build something that's very, very bad and it won't fit into those 3 buckets. It might even be negative toward those 3 buckets, but it's even more problems and issues that people forget about. So there's something that we call technical debt, invisible technical debt, and that is the worst thing. So as you keep on using AI and Claude Code and Lovable to build your product out, which is amazing for an MVP, you're actually creating a lot of issues for yourself that you don't even know about. So because you're not technical and because you don't know these things, you're creating a lot of messy code, unscalability, and patchworking fixes that aren't really going to help you in the long run. You're more so just pacing over the cracks, as a builder would say. Number 2 is security risk, especially within certain spaces like Web3 and even AI these days. We're seeing a number of hacks. Again, I'm all pro for AI and using all these products, but I think it has to be used in a way where you understand what you're doing rather than just building things out very quickly like MVPs. Number 3, demo versus reality of users. So people think, okay, I know this from my experience, when you're building something out and you demo it to yourself and you're just playing around with it, it always works. But when you give it to somebody else or you give it to, maybe you're showing it to your team, wherever it is, it always breaks. Demos never go right. My developers know this. Demos never go right. They always fail, and it's not up to you. It's just those edge cases that you haven't even thought about because you haven't thought about how someone will use the product differently to how you do. And that's another thing that goes into those 3 buckets where retaining users, you don't even know how the users will be using your products. So always have that in mind. The final thing is you have no clear pathway to scale. Even if this works, can you grow? Because you're building on top of all those other 3 things I've mentioned, it's almost as if you're building on no foundations and you can't lay there in those foundations. The real problem isn't speed, because we know that speed is no longer a problem anymore because everything can be done quite quickly using AI. It's experience. And when you're an individual with 0 experience or little experience within building out specific products or any technical experience that you have or haven't had, it shows, because AI isn't the problem, it's the no-code solution that you're using without the experience. So what does a good MVP actually look like? So I want to remind you of the 3 buckets we had at the beginning. We had funded, we had retaining users, we had validating idea. So let's keep it at the back of our mind while we go through our philosophy and our process. So we basically have that idea and we break it down and we strip away everything that is not part of the 3 buckets that we want. So let's say we're interested in getting funded. We strip away everything that hasn't got to do with what the people that are funding us will see. So let's say our VCs or whoever are funding us, they don't really care about data or they're not really tech savvy. So we'll strip away all of the data, all of the API calls, wherever it is, and create a front end that they can play around with dummy data, or almost like allowing us to demo or allowing them to demo in their own time. So we're going to make sure that the product is very usable. And obviously we're going to leverage AI to allow us to do this. Once you've got to your MVP, you ship, you iterate, you expand. Okay. That can be changed for retaining users. So what do your users actually want quickly and getting that to them quickly as possible, and then iterating. Number three, the third bucket being like validating an idea. Validate your idea quickly in the most simplest way and keep on shipping and iterating towards the vision that your users want or your people that are using it want. If you take away one thing from this, I just want you to know that speed is useful, but it's not the be all and end all. What it is, you have to be pointing in the right direction. Because with AI and all these other tools that allow us to build quicker, we can run into the wrong direction very, very quickly, rather than running into the direction that gets us into the three buckets that I was speaking about before. So if you're building and not too sure where to exactly start, do that sanity check. What three buckets do you fit in? And honestly, if you have no idea, then you can book a free call with me and we'll have a discussion, we'll have a talk.